America's national security, a president's first job, to protect our nation from all enemies, foreign and domestic. In a dangerous world, Kamala Harris has sworn to do just that. Her commitment is clear.
I will never waver in defense of America's security and ideals, because in the enduring struggle between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand and I know where the United States belongs. I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
And to uphold America's solemn promise to honor our veterans.
And I will fulfill our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families, and I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice.
Kamala Harris for president, for a stronger, safer America.
Understand that in Pennsylvania, maybe looking at sort of on a football field, you can maybe get 49 yards up your side of the field. But grabbing that extra yard and a half, 2 yards to get to the other side of the field is really, really tough. This is a tough state to compete in and win in. The good news is what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are doing is showing up in the communities that need to meet them, the communities that are oftentimes ignored or left behind. I mean, right before they went to the DNC in Chicago, they weren't in Philly or Pittsburgh, and I love Philly and Pittsburgh, but they went to rural Beaver County. That's in the corner down by Ohio and West Virginia. I think just yesterday and today, Tim Walz was in rural Lancaster County and up in Erie and rural Fayette County. They're showing up in the communities that need to hear from them, need to understand, you know, what they're all about, kind of kick the tires and understand more. And I think as Pennsylvanians get more familiar with the vice president and the governor, they are going to see them as the people who can help move not just our Commonwealth, but our entire country forward.
There's actually an election coming up. Next week we do have the debate. One side appears to be taking it as if it's a joke. Governor Sumasu turned up on Fox News. Why are they not taking it serious? Why is it like, how can we come out with something controversial? How can we get some attention on social media? People want support with their houses, jobs, health, education. This is not a joke. This is not, look, Trump wants to run it as a reality TV show or something like that. This has got to be taken at the level people who give their vote in a box, give a tick to support the candidate of their choice. There has to be a level of respect, because at the moment it is just, it's garbage. You could take a, you could actually, you know, you see these YouTube clips of Lego towns. You could make a whole Lego of this election and it would have more facts from the Republican side, more detailed of policy, and just all of this nonsense where one person says something and it's echo chambered. This is not a debate.
Shapiro, he often says, and I hear him say this, whenever Donald Trump's talking about America, he's shit-talking America. He does not believe in the promise of America, and he continues to put this country down. Whether it's our veterans or working people, he continues to do it. And you know why he does it? You know why he does that? Because he can only think of himself. He can only think of the service for himself. We saw it. When this guy was in power, first thing he did, he told us this. Remember 9 years ago? Oh, healthcare would be simple. I got a plan on the first day. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. The first day plan was to repeal the Affordable Care Act, taking away our protections. And I'll give him this. The second thing he did say he was going to do this. He was very clear about it. He promised he would do it, and he kept his word. He said, with a bunch of his rich friends, he goes, you're super rich, these folks down in Mar-a-Lago, and I'm going to cut your taxes. He did that. He did that. And the third thing he did, he wasn't quite so honest about, because he told us he wasn't going to do it. He installed 3 Supreme Court justices who took away our right to control our own bodies. He did all that before he tried to violently overthrow our democratic government, too, by the way. In an election that he got his butt whipped fair and square and lost. It's that simple.
I want to just get your reaction to something that Donald Trump says a lot. about Jewish Americans, which is that they're crazy, they need to get their head examined, they're essentially betraying who they are if they vote for Democrats, saying if you had Democrats to support you were Jewish, you have to have your head examined. He warns that Israel will no longer exist if Vice President Kamala Harris becomes president. He's used the word Palestinian as a slur against Chuck Schumer to say that, quote, he's almost like a Palestinian. I'm curious how that strikes your ears.
Look, I think it is more of the same from Donald Trump. I have been the recipient of many attacks from Donald Trump, including anti-Semitic attacks from Donald Trump over the years, as have the people of Pennsylvania and the American people. Donald Trump is someone who peddles bigotry and hatred. He constantly tries to create others in our society, separate people out based on what they look like, where they come from, who they love, who they pray to. And it is something that is deeply offensive, I think, to many people. And, you know, not just as a governor, but as a father of four, I try and raise our kids to love thy neighbor, to care about their fellow man, their fellow woman. And, you know, we should have a leader of this nation, a leader of the free world who at least meets those standards that most parents try and hold their children to. When you look at what Donald Trump has specifically said to American Jews, this notion of this dual loyalty where American Jews can only care about Israel, that is deeply offensive to me and to many others. I'm a proud American Jew, and I care about Israel. I also care about health care. I care about our kids' education. I care about our national security. I care about a whole host of issues, as many American Jews do. And sort of going with this notion of dual loyalty that Jews only have to care about Israel, and by the way, have to have the exact same views on Israel, I think is deeply offensive and deeply troublesome. Donald Trump sort of fails that test that parents set for their kids. He has failed the test as commander-in-chief before. We do not want to hand him the keys back to the White House where he can continue to try and divide us, offend people, and spew more hatred and bigotry in our society.
Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you.
Some say of Donald Trump and the MAGA movement that the cruelty is the point. They're right. When Governor Tim Walz took to the stage at the DNC, he showed us not only a proud vision for America, but a deep love for his family. Building an America that's better, more compassionate, is personal for Tim Walz, whose son Gus has special needs. Gus exploded with love for his father after he took the stage.
The camera caught him so incredibly proud of you, so emotional, saying, "That's my dad."
I'm grateful I got to experience it, and I'm so proud of him.
It was a wonderful moment for any decent person watching, but MAGA is anything but decent. Insults, mockery. These are the voices of Trump's enablers, the people who make up Donald Trump's movement. What kind of people taunt a disabled child? Trump's people. It's time to ask, is this who you are? Is this how you're raising your children? Is this what you want from a president?